Good morning, everybody. I guess good afternoon because it's 12:41, so it is the afternoon time. I have gone ahead and gotten all of our morning chores done, and Jordan and I had some coffee before she left to go to work. So we just spent some time to ourselves this morning, and we're going to go out later and spend some time in the garden and do some weeding and talk to you there. But I wanted to start this vlog off with some really encouraging words, and I also wanted to start it off by saying thank you. We've been doing this homesteading thing for just a little over a year now. It's probably been about a year and a month or a year and 2 months, depending on when you consider we actually started. I wanted to say thank you because there are a lot of you that follow us on YouTube and other social medias. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. You've helped us a ton, whether you've come and butchered with us or you've given us advice or you've been just watching us since the day we've started. We really appreciate it. And if you, let me see if I can get this in here. If you started with this video right here, we were watching some of these videos earlier the other day, and if you started with this video, thank you. This video is just horrible compared to some of the other videos that we have up now, but we were just so excited. We were so excited to get started. So let's go ahead and talk about numbers. I want to talk about numbers with you, give you guys some encouragement. I know there were a lot of people who started working with their own food. Maybe they weren't exactly homesteading, but this year kind of threw them for a loop. And so they really started to think about where their food was coming from, or maybe they grew some of their own food. Maybe it was something big like what we're doing. Maybe it was bigger. Maybe it was smaller. Maybe it was a couple of plants on your back patio. But I want to give you some encouragement because next year is coming. I know some people are going to go back to work, and I don't want you guys to get discouraged. This is a fun thing to do. I want you to take it at your own pace. We dove head first into it, and so I don't want you to think the things that we accomplished means you haven't accomplished anything, because every day you get up to do something, that's an accomplishment. So keep that in mind. So let's start this whole thing with a question I got from a viewer a couple of weeks ago, and that question was this: do you have anyone help you on the homestead, or is it just you and your wife? So as far as getting things done on the homestead, I just want to preface this. We have had a little bit of help with like chicken butcherings and people from our local homesteading group coming out and just helping us out with those things, and people giving us certain advice and helping us as we've grown and added animals. That is by no account something that we could just do on our own. We did do a lot of learning when we started, but we've had plenty of mentors along the way, and we still do. As far as manual labor goes, we don't have anybody that comes and helps us, feed the birds or tend to the garden or whatever. As far as that goes, I would say 98 to 99% of all of the labor and learning and stuff like that has been just the two of us. But it is good to have a mentor and have somebody who can help you answer questions if you have questions about a certain type of animal or a certain type of crop or plant or how to do certain things. There's always there's always a need for that mentor. So keep that in mind. But as overall, we do most of it ourselves. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of encouragement as you step into your next year. We are stepping back this coming up year because we felt a little overwhelmed. So let's go into the numbers, and you can kind of see maybe why we feel a little overwhelmed at points, but overall we're just happy that we've been able to do it so far. Alright, so the first thing I want to go into chickens or poultry. I'm going to use it as a larger spectrum here because we've done ducks, we've done turkeys, we've done chickens. I'm trying to think, is there any other bird that we've done? I don't think so. I think that was it. So as far as chickens go, I have some notes here so I don't forget. So when we started out with 12 egg layers that we bought that were pullets, and they were very close to laying. And even though we didn't get any eggs the fall season, we ended up getting some whiting true greens. We ended up getting about 16 of those. And so we had a pretty good flock by the end of the winter time. Spring came, and I think we had lost a couple of the whiting true greens. But by the time they started laying, we were getting about 18 to 22 eggs a day throughout spring. We went from like no eggs to like all the eggs you could ever want. And so it was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And that's when we really started like selling extra eggs that we had to friends and family that were looking to buy some eggs from us, or wanted farm fresh eggs, or were looking for better quality of food. So we started doing that, and that kind of died down there near the summer and really died down when it got really hot. And now we're averaging about, I would say, 8 to 10 eggs a day, coming into the end of the season, into fall, end of that growing year. So I have learned that chickens, when they first start laying eggs, they lay a lot. And I'm talking about, like, you better be eating eggs every day, if you get what I'm saying. As far as meat chickens go, we love eating chicken, and we've done 3 batches so far. We started out with a batch of Freedom Rangers that had 50 in them. Then we did another batch of 50 from McMurray in the spring, and we ended up losing some, so I think we ended around 43. And then we did one more batch with another 50, and then we also had 8 Cornish cross that we had gotten from Tractor Supply, and then we also had 5 turkeys that we coupled in there and did them all at one time. We've also produced 815 pounds of chicken meat, and we've also produced 30 pounds of turkey. So obviously we haven't eaten all of that. We have sold numerous amounts of chicken. We have ground up numerous amounts of turkey, and we have eaten numerous amounts of eggs and sold way more than we have ever eaten before. So the garden that we started out with, we had about 1,300 square feet. It was like the whole row of the house, or the whole length of the house, in the front, right in front of the sidewalk. And when we first started, we didn't get much. I mean, we got some greens, we got some broccoli, we got some garlic and onions. But for that fall year, we didn't get much. And then we really started diving into compost and running the chickens on the ground and taking care of the soil. And in the spring, we got a ton of food. We got a lot of tomatoes, we got a lot of cucumbers, we got a lot of peas, we got a lot of greens, we got a lot of squash. We got a lot of beans. We got a lot of green beans, like bush beans, lettuces, any kind of like leafy greens that we had, spinach. I'm trying to think of what else we did. I said squash. Oh, we got a lot of radishes and carrots. We did really well in the spring, and then it got really hot, and we're still learning how to grow stuff when it gets really hot. So we had a tough time there, and then we kind of like we jumped in a little too quick. We were up to 3,600 square feet of garden space. We had 2 equivalent lengths of about 36 by 50 foot beds, and that's a ton of food, guys. That's a ton of food. And what we realized, now that we're back down to about 1,800 square feet, or about half of what we had, was we needed to spend more time focusing on abundance in a smaller space than less abundance but having a bigger space, if that makes any sense. Like, we had so much space and so much stuff growing that we couldn't keep up with it. And so what ended up happening was we were losing probably more than we really wanted to, and if we just had a smaller space, then we wouldn't have lost so much stuff, and we would have been able to keep up with the weeds. We still got so much food. We grew about 50 to 75% of our own vegetables that we eat on a yearly basis. We grew that this year. And you don't understand until you start growing your own food just how many vegetables you eat within a year. It's a lot. That is a lot of vegetables. So we added 3 other animals this year to our homestead as well. We added kuni pigs, we added meat rabbits, and we added dairy goats. We really struggled this year with the rabbits. We had 3 litters, one of which did not make it at all. One litter did really well, and then one litter did well until it got hot, and we lost a ton of rabbits just due to the heat. It's hard. They were black rabbits. They're hard to kind of regulate their temperature, we've found, in our area because of the humidity and the heat and everything. They just don't do as well unless they have some type of shade that's better than what we gave them this year. Maybe we won't have any in the summertime. That's kind of what we were thinking. We're also going to try, hopefully, a different tractor setup, but we'll see how that goes. As far as Kune pigs go, you guys know we love our Kune pigs. Wanda and Luis are our OG Kune pigs, and Miss Louise had a litter this year. We got 6 piglets out of it, 2 of which were traded for us for our goats that we have, so that was really cool. And then we ended up selling one, and we ended up keeping 3 of the boys, 2 of which will probably be meat pigs, if not all 3. Something that I never thought I would say either is that we also learned how to castrate pigs. We had to. Testosterone taints the meat, so we had to learn how to castrate them, and y'all, that was an experience. That's all I'm gonna say. So let's finish this off by jumping into some numbers here. What did we spend on our homestead this year? This was our startup year. This was our year of learning. We got fences, we've got garden tools, we got animals, we got feed, we got trellises. What exactly did we spend on our homestead, and was it worth it for us? We spent roughly about $15,000 on our homestead this year to get it where we are at today. Our grocery bill is pretty close to $50 to $100 a month, maybe less than that. We get stuff, like oils and cooking equipment and stuff like that. For the most part, we don't buy vegetables or meat anymore. And again, we wouldn't be able to do it without other people's help, so I don't want to leave them out either. We gave a ton of food away to people who helped us, to people who needed it, and we sold a ton. Looking at the numbers, we made half of the $15,000 back. Is totally worth it. Totally worth it for us. And you can do this. You don't need to go as hard as we did. There are some times when I think we went a little too hard. We learned a lot of lessons. We've cut back a lot just because we've learned more does not always mean more food. Hopefully that encourages you guys. Those are some big numbers. We've done a lot, but ultimately we couldn't have done it without you guys. So we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you watching us every day, and we look forward to next year. Start thinking about next year, Start thinking about it, because now's the time to really start thinking about what you're going to plant in the spring, what you're going to do next year, how you're going to be intentional to get it done. I'm going to get us ready. We're going to go outside, and we're going to spend some time in the garden because, intentionally, I need to go weed. So let's go ahead and head outside, and I will see you guys very, very shortly. Bam, outside. Okay, so I've got a couple things I need to get done today, and they're a little more tedious than you might think. So you see this massive garden back here, or at least it's massive to me, and it needs some good weeding and just going through. So we're going to go through that today. I've been asked to plant some garlic, so I need to clean up some of the rows. I need to clean up some of the aisles. I just need to spend a really good amount of time with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my favorite podcasts. I'm going to just go at it today. Let's see if I can show you what I've gotten accomplished so far. We've gotten these rows cleaned up here, these walkways cleaned up. I've got a couple more weeding to do in here with the lettuces, but that's looking good. I've got a little more weeding to do here on the spinach, but all the kale and everything down there is looking really good, so I'm excited about that. We've got some spinach coming up. I've got that row over there done. I'm liking that so far. And I've got a little more digging to do here on these 2 rows. So I raked them, but they just need a little more work. So we're going to get those 2 taken care of, and a little more weeding. Look at that. Man, it's looking good. It's looking really good. Squash is looking good. But we're gonna take a break. And Miss Jordan needs something of mine. So we need to make a run down to go see her. So that's what we're gonna go do. Alright you guys, well I'm gonna call it done for today. Until the next video guys, we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.